Hey, hey everyone. Just my live from yesterday just got uploaded. It takes like 24 hours for YouTube. For some reason, it takes 24 hours for after you do a live for it to for the upload process to be complete. So as I was listening to my own live recorded live, I realized that YouTube cut out towards the end. I was saying some stuff towards the end, and pretty much I think I know why. And I'm gonna repeat it again. I don't know. It depends. I might add some more things on my mind, but yeah, I just wanted to say that because I really didn't like the fact that my live was cut off like within like the last few minutes or so. But anyway, what I was saying is that the system they use they use skin color as a political tool. Now, I didn't say it like those words, but I think because I know YouTube is controlled through AI, so I think certain keywords it picks up certain keywords, and I think it just somehow remove part of my my content yesterday. What I was saying, so anyway, so the system uses skin color, like I said again, as a political tool to divide people. And they've been doing this successfully over the years. So what I'm saying is that, and also including with that, I was trying to say yesterday, what I said yesterday was that people feel through, obviously through the belief system in this system that they think because they have a different skin complexion, they are treated better. But you see, the thing is that once you understand what you're dealing with, what type of system we have, you'll realize that regardless what your skin color is, people are sharing the same cage. Or I could just put it like this. One ethnic group will have a little bit more extra privileges in one corner of the cage, while on the other side of the cage, people are getting less or more, or vice versa, or somewhere in between. But again, thing is, people are still in the same cage. You're controlled differently. The system will use your emotions and your political ideology against you. And they do this every time. And that's what I was trying to say. Yesterday I made it clear that people will, for somebody to really get it, or if they don't care to get it and they're hard headed, I feel like those people are going to have to, they're going to have to suffer greatly by the system. Okay, now what I mean by system, local government, state, federal government, okay? People are going to have to be oppressed greatly by these different systems of government, okay? And that's just how it works. You have to, like, I don't mind repeating this, but getting your mind out of politics and learning constitutional laws and questioning how this system is crossing the constitutional limits. The Constitution, you don't get your rights from the Constitution. They're there to protect people from state government and federal. Okay? So, because people don't understand about this, and this is my observation and my conversation with people, and just seeing the stuff over the 10 years, it hasn't really changed. It's just, I identify patterns of people, not saying everybody, but a lot of people, how they basically, how they're being controlled, and their responses. So you're gonna continue being manipulated. They're gonna manipulate you, and that's how it works. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Looking at all these emojis. Okay, yeah. Hey. So if you don't like my what I'm sharing, you could just exit off. Well, actually, let me see here. Trying to see. There you go. All right. I just removed somebody off my live video for the first time. I don't normally do. I just never figure how to do that. So, so you got a lot of I guess what you call trolls and stuff like that. You know, people just have some problem how you express yourself. But anyway, so yeah, and that's the thing too. People, whether you're a troll or not, and you can say whatever towards me, whatever. I just, if I want to remove you, that's fine. People are free to listen to what I have to say or not. But regardless whether you listen to me or not, the system is going to continuously oppress you. Okay, I'm just sharing things that I've learned over the years, and I know how the system controls people. Okay, but there are plenty of people out there that hasn't grown up. Maybe physically you've grown up, but in the mind you're still as an adult child, and and it's all a byproduct through the education system. The school system doesn't teach people to be responsible, critical thinking people. People are literally wired through emotions, and anything that you discuss that goes outside the belief structure, you will get, I'm not saying everybody, but you will get an adult child response. And I kind of wonder if that's just human nature. But when you have the populace that's being conditioned over the years through so many garbage, you're going to get a lot of stuff, especially the education system that doesn't help. It doesn't matter if it's private or public school. It's pretty much the same. You're being indoctrinated through the same agencies or private entities that invested a lot just to dumb you down. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to really talk about that. I wanted to see if I have something else I could add. I mean, this is like part 2 to my journey update. Yeah, it's really not hard to really see past to get over the lies and manipulation tactics. It's not really hard. You're gonna have to want it. You're gonna have to want to break free from the just the mental how they control you. They'll use everything they can, and I cannot stress enough to talk about the political ideologies, how it's being weaponized against the people. It's just, I can see it clear as day. I do, but I have to remind myself, if they don't care to hear, they don't want it, they don't care, and you piss people off, my attitude is good. That is my attitude. I'm really glad that I'm able to piss folks off. I don't sugarcoat the things what I've learned over the years. I just say things very direct, and that's it. And I think that's the reason why I've also, something I've picked up some things over the years, that why I've gotten so many resistance from people, because, and I was telling a friend of mine about that, well, I don't lean towards these political camps. People have a hard time grasping, like, where, like, I think if I was, because I was a liberal, I guess. I grew up in a liberal household. There's things that we live in I live in a rough neighborhood, and we have things to defend ourselves. So I wouldn't say that my parents was, in a way, liberal, like, don't have any weapons to defend yourself. No, that wasn't the case. We had things to defend ourselves. But I guess my folks, they was leaning towards government dependency. the belief structure was there on that. But I think I always had it in me to always question things. And I think that's what helped me over the years. I was always questioning everything. It doesn't matter if it's something that's been hardwired into my brain, that's been taught through the school system. I always question a lot of things. Why, for example, why United States? Why we have to be the world's leader? Why we have to stick our noses in places around the world? Why do we have to be the one to provide foreign aid? Which foreign aid is nothing but it's just another term for welfare, basically. And, you know, why are we involved in these things? Like, why? And it's like a constant thing, you know. I don't see nobody question that. But I question these things over the years. And, but going back, why folks can't really grasp where I stand is because I just don't have any, I don't lean politically, excuse me. I just discuss about, I expose the system, I talk about solutions, I talk about constitutional laws, and think what goes on around me, you know. I talk about different stuff on that. But yeah, I guess and it's good. I really have no regrets. You know, it helps me see that where I'm at and the things I talk about, it weeds off a lot of the zombies out there. It weeds off. Only people, the kind of people that will align with me is the ones that are sick and tired of being sick and tired, or the ones that not sitting around table or virtual round table and bitch about how the system had placed their boot across your neck and you feel powerless. No, no, no. The kind of people that aligns with me is forward-thinking, action-oriented people, the ones that's willing to learn, willing to let go what they think they know, and just to unlearn and relearn, you know. And I gotta be honest with you, if I come up with a percentage wise, I will say within the past 10 years, there have been very, very, very few people. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's been a very few people that could be in the same level where I'm at. And I don't want to say, you know, people might take it the wrong way, and that. Then they're free to do that. When I mean very few people are able to be in a level where I'm at, is a level that I place myself. Like I had to put the effort and learn and research. And when you research and you learn stuff and you let go of old program that's been nothing but lies and deception, all that deception, you start to think differently, you know? You're not going to think the same way. You're not going to say the same thing. You're not going to support the same stuff no more. So, you know, that's just me. You know, I'm going to really constantly expand my mind. So it's not like I learned something about, you know, for example, about the 14th Amendment in this fraudulent system. You know, just because I learned that doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm going to constantly learn. You never stop learning. Anyone that says to you that I know everything and I don't need to learn anything, those are the kind of people you need to stay far away. Okay? That's just my advice. You're free to take it or not. But I'm always learning, you know? And I had a lot of people that try to school me about things that I talk about, or they try to debunk me, and I listen what they say. But a lot of time, a lot of these folks, they don't got nothing to back up what they're saying. So what it is that some people like to challenge me. They're giving me nothing but hot air. Okay? They don't have nothing to back up what they're saying. They mix up their butt-hurt feelings because I say something that makes them feel uncomfortable. They mix that with the narrative that the system brainwashed them with, and then they call it truth. And I'm like, and I literally dismiss these people because you're not giving me anything, nothing solid. I could tell right away the minute somebody start talking trash and saying what they say, I could pretty much kind of gauge what direction they're coming from. but I kind of listen what they say. But if somebody have something that could back up what they're saying and say, hey Arch, you share something and it's incorrect, and I have something to share to you that you should look into. And I'll say, okay, I'll look into it. And if it checks out and I research, whatever, right? And it invalidates some of the things I talk about, I said, okay, great. And I'll probably mention about it in a video and say, hey, look, somebody just corrected me and somebody says something about whatever. Like, just, I can't come up with an example right now, but I'm just saying somebody corrected me. I'm like, okay, nobody knows everything. I will say I am extremely confident what I say. Okay, that's a difference. Okay, you can't learn stuff and knowing stuff and you have no confidence what you're saying. Like, it's like, what are you doing? But yes, I am confident. Some people might think I'm cocky or arrogant, whatever. I'm confident, okay, because I've done my homework. I researched the things I talk about. So, and when I talk about political ideology, that's just, I don't know. I don't have anything anything solid to give to people and tell people like, look, this X, Y, and Z textbooks say that they are using your political ideology against you. No, it's just identify the root of the system, right? Identify the system, what it is, okay? And I connect the patterns of how the system functions and what are the narrative of each political camp. So if conservative, if they're leaning towards abortion, and liberal leaning towards it's my body, my choice, blah, 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 whatever. See, I link these things together and put it like, what is the agenda behind these narratives? Who's benefiting from these narratives? It's nothing to do about people and about saving lives, none about that. Who's benefiting these agenda? And I could go on and on. I could go on and on about gun control. Who's benefiting these things? But then I throw this thing out to liberals or conservatives. Say, wait a minute, you talk about gun control, but did you ever read or heard about a federal right that the police do not have no constitutional duty to protect the general public? So if you're pushing gun control policies, then why is the police, according to the public duty doctrine, why they don't have no duty to protect you? It's like, you can't have it both ways. So who is going to protect you? So if you're going to have them control all the firearms, then tell me this. This is where I question the political ideology. And this is where people fall to the point of they don't know what to say for the most part, or they'll get defensive. So if you're pushing gun control and the police have no constitutional duty to protect you, then how are you going to protect yourself and your family? It doesn't have to be firearm. It could be a pitchfork, or it could be a knife, whatever, machete, whatever. How are you going to protect you and your family? So why don't you just sit there with that? See, this is what I do to these political ideology. I look at them, I identify the inconsistency, right? And then I go right back to what this system is. You have to. You have to identify what we're dealing with. I'm not going to go by what they're telling me, going by what I want to hear. No, I'm going to go by the uncomfortable truth. Who are these people in office? Okay, who's benefiting these policies that they're pushing? I'm not benefiting out of this. You're not benefiting out of this. You may think that it's benefiting you, but not really. Because you're still being oppressed by the same people that you supposedly support. And you're divided by the narrative that they created. So to keep you busy and divided. So I see the whole game. And Trump's part of it. So this is why I don't get manipulated by the system. I don't. Do I have emotions? Yeah, I have emotions. I get frustrated. Okay? I'm not a machine. Okay? I get frustrated, like a lot of people. But the thing is, I identify exactly, or I pinpoint exactly different thing what goes on behind it. That's the difference between me and a lot of people that's not aware about what we're dealing with. And I'm not talking about the deep state stuff. That deep state, that's another narrative that they push on you, push on folks. Deep state, okay? Deep state, okay? Deep state, all right? So you're talking about deep state. Yeah, okay. So let's say there is a deep state, all right? Whatever. Or shadow government, same shit, right? But you're supporting a system that actually supports shadow government or deep state. The system doesn't departmentalize itself and say, oh, these are the bad guys. And they all go on the same legislative congressional floor, all these people, right? They all sit next to each other. No, 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 no. There is no departmentalization. They all share the same shit. It's just that, see, in part of the political soap opera, you don't see them shaking hands. It's kind of like the WWE, you know? Back in the days, you got Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan. They hate each other. But there was a snippet clip back then that Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, they were shaking hands. Wait a minute. How is that these two are shaking hands? I used to think wrestling was real at the time. That's when I started realizing that it's all fake. Just like the political soapbox that people get themselves all worked up with. You think that the Democrats and Republicans hate each other. You think Trump hate Biden. You think Trump hate what do you call it, Kamala. They're all in cahoots. I mean, crying out loud. Daggone it. How many photos you got to see to realize it's in front of your face, right? Every damn what do they have this when they have the presidential run-in, and you got the one of the Catholics, the Cardinals. They sit in these. They have this like some damn restaurant, or it's like a ballroom. They all sit, and you got the two candidates running for president, right? But wait a minute. How the hell Trump, for example, there was a photo of Trump sitting at the same fucking table as Hillary. How the hell you hate this person, and this person's a criminal, Hillary, right? But you sit in the same damn table. If I had an enemy that's targeting me, right? Okay, let's just go with the stuff that the political soap opera is real. If I got someone targeting me, why would I shake my hand? And why would I sit in the same table across somebody? I would want to do something to that person to defend myself. It's not about the political bullshit jobs. It's my well-being, for my safety. I will defend myself. But anyway, I know that's a little too much. It's too much to ask for some people to think about these things, because people don't want to let go about the narrative that is being fed. Because people, not everyone, people don't want to accept that they've been conned. Or I want them to say a hoodwink. You don't want to accept that. You feel safe to know that Trump is on your side, or you feel safe that Hillary's on your side, or whatever puppets that they come up with. You feel safe. And you feel like your identity as a conservative or MAGA or liberal or libertarian is intact. You don't want to lose that. You don't want to be left out of the herd, or you want to call your tribe, quote unquote. You don't want to stand out from your family and friends, because the people, the minute you start talking outside the political box that you put yourself into, people are going to think you're crazy, right? Then you're going to worry about not having friends, or your girlfriend, your wife is going to leave you, or your husband's going to leave you, or your boyfriend's going to leave you. Like, they don't want to hear the stuff that I got to say, because I'm no longer a conservative. They're going to look at you like, oh, you're not a conservative? Or you're a communist? They're going to think you're a communist. They're going to accuse you of socialist. You see how the system brainwashed you? Who told you that? Because you're not a conservative. Or you're not waving that federal flag no more. Who told you that? that, oh, you're automatically a communist, you're a socialist. And the liberals say the same thing too, but their own twisted way. You know, they'll say the conservative fascist. And the libertarians, they're confused. They're confused as fuck. No offense if anybody is listening as a libertarian. They're just fucking confused. They talk about they're against the federal and the feds, but then they suck in the Kool-Aid and their own political drink. It's just a little different. They kind of got it mushed in between the conservative and liberals, but they're confused too, you know. And the radical independents, have a few talks with them and tell them exactly, okay, if you're independent, if you're radical independent, okay, ask you a question about this. So, do you believe in self-governing, right? Self-governing, what is self-governing? Self-governing is that you are a free man, right? You are a freeholder. The land that you live on, your house, right? That is your property, okay? It's under real property. That's your home. And you are not subject to code and ordinance, and the city or state can't tell you what you can and can't do in your home because you are a freeholder. You are governing, self-governing yourself. Self-governing, you're taking responsibility of your life. You're not asking the government to please, can you wipe my ass for me? And I can't think, and I need you to make the tough choices in my life. Okay? No, no, no. You are governing yourself. You're making a tough decision in your life. That's it. You are an adult. You are a sound mind, and that's it. The government has no say in your life, and you're not asking them or depending them on anything. Okay? That is independent. And you ain't waving out federal flag either, because that's not your fucking country flag. You're waving your state flag. That is your country. Let me just put that there too. I know this is kind of a rant, but man, sometimes I get in a kind of in a rhythm, and I just wanted to. Sometimes I could really go. I could go on and on. I could go deep. But anyway, so I'm not sure if once I end this live, I'm not sure if it's all of it's going to come out. YouTube is censoring, and that's cool. That's cool because I'm going to take care of YouTube. YouTube is the whole censorship, the data, the mass surveillance and data sharing process that I created. I'm going to create a PowerPoint presentation. It's going to be maybe four to six parts on that. It's going to be that, and censorship is going to be covered on that. Definitely going to cover that. We don't have to be stuck in being censored, you know. We have, it is a natural right to express yourself freely, you know. Yeah, you got to be responsible, you know. And this is a thing too. I know this kind of get a little tricky because of the narrative. The system is so strong on people's minds. You see, if you look in your original Constitution before 1860, right? Like when you like, let's say you're part of the press and you wanted to put a story out there, you're free to do that. There are responsibilities there, okay? If you express something about somebody, right? Let's say you share something, right? To defame somebody, right? You are hurting that person's character, okay? This kind of gets a little tricky. Now, in the original system, that was operating under common law before the 14th Amendment, or let's say before 1860, people express themselves with responsibility. If you have something factual to support what you're saying and not built in with gossip, you're setting yourself into a problem. Okay, then the damaged party is gonna have to come after you, and these things are gonna have to be squared away in court. Okay, all right. So yeah, the whole gossip thing and all that shit, people mix that with truth. Oh my gosh, man, it just gets ridiculous. But you are free to express yourself, okay? But if you damage somebody, like their reputation and all that, and let's say it's all built on gossip, I'm like, depends. If you're a journalist and you want to write something that a particular party that is doing something to fraud people, let's just say Joe Schmo, he has an operation that he's frauding people, and you do a story about it, and you have all the evidence with it. Of course, you contacted the sheriff, but you did a story about it. Now that's different. You're a journalist. You identify. You got all the facts. Okay, all the facts collected, everything. You do a story about it. That's not gossip. You presented people, the public, the general public, the information about, hey, this is what this person's doing. This person's people. Okay. Today, people say all kinds of shit, and everybody talking about free speech and all that. I'm like, okay, free speech, all right. But still in all, censorship shouldn't even be allowed anyway. It violates due process. Like, what crime did I commit? It. Tell me a crime I committed. Policies are not laws. I don't give a fuck what YouTube say. Okay? Policy is not law. We think policy is law because we've been indoctrinated. We don't know law. We don't even understand about due process. We don't. We really don't. But anyway, I go on and on. That's just another. Maybe I could just probably do a live on that. Maybe, I don't know, if I have time. I just want to squeeze this time to do this part 2 because YouTube cut out part of my live yesterday, and it's all good. I'm gonna take care of this. It's all good. But anyway, let me see who comment on my live here. Oh, yeah, I see somebody say, no, I don't show my face. Sorry, I don't. Yeah. You say your mom knows everything? Yeah, my mom said the same thing, but unfortunately, nobody knows everything. Moms don't know everything. They have to learn just like everybody else. They have wisdom. I learned a lot from my mom. She passed on. And we, you know, there's things that my mom knows that I don't know. And there's things that I've learned that my mom don't know. And we had lots of conversations about that. And so yeah, just because somebody's older, okay, it's have the mindset as a student and a teacher. I think that would be beneficial for everybody. Have the mindset as a student and a teacher. Okay? All right. I'm not a religious person. All right. I'm just trying to balance it out. Okay. Nobody knows everything. Okay. Let me see who else. Who I'm talking with. Let me try to read a username. It's called Bright. I can't read. I can't see your. I'm trying to look at your username, but the person that said, "Who are you talking with?" I'm just talking about basically the system. I'm just talking about how people are conditioned through the political ideology, how it's being weaponized, and how the system uses the same old, same old. The system will use your skin color, white against black, Hispanics against white, whatever. The system does this all the time. It's all through calculations. Everything is a political stunt. And because the system studies human behavior to the T, all right, they don't expect people, this is what the enemy in office thinks of us. They don't expect us to sit there and think about the things that's being thrown at us. They don't expect you to sit there and question the narrative, because through their studies of human behavior, people, a good number of people, will operate through emotions. They will operate through emotion. They don't. It's like kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. They don't really understand about what as far as the mechanism go on. They'll just go on anything that targets their belief structure. People suddenly will come up with or give a cognitive dissonance reaction. Okay, and those people will just block. They don't want to hear nothing. Okay, so the system is counting on that. So people don't get together as a collective and to discuss and question the narrative. The system got everything covered. That's why these political parties exist, to keep people divided. Um, it just goes deeper. I did the best I can to really take it in deep. So, but if you're open, if you're ready to hear the things that I say, you will stick around or you'll come back and listen to this live when it's recorded. But other than that, for the people that don't want to hear it, yeah, I'm not going to waste my time with people that don't want to hear it. They're basically free to stay where they are. So anyway, I think I cover a lot for this live part 2. I didn't really plan to do it, but this live is it's gonna take 24 hours, so it's gonna be available to listen tomorrow. So I don't know why live does that. If I do a PowerPoint presentation, right, and I upload the file to YouTube, it comes up quickly. But when it comes to a live, it's weird. It just takes 24 hours for it to upload. All right, thank you all. I really appreciate you stop by and all the brave people that stick around. Maybe you had to go to work, maybe not. But anyway, it will be recorded tomorrow, so you can always come back and listen to. I think I think anybody will benefit the things that I shared. I think people will, definitely will. But we have to make our choices. We want to if we want to free our mind and take action, or we could stay in a little box to feel safe and to be manipulated from the rest of your life. So, choice is yours, as always. All right, everybody. Until then, I will be back with another interesting topic. Take care.